I call this meeting to order on this Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District number 35 Governing Board meeting, District Office 570 Camino Lito Galindo, Rio Rico, Arizona. Can we please stand for the pledge? Thank you very much. Ms. Cabrera, will you please lead us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cabrera. I got you off guard. Okay, our roll call, Ms. Fobian is absent. Mr. Guerrero. Present. Mr. Rene Ramirez.
Here.
Mr. Beach.
Present.
And me, Ms. Lourdes Vasquez, I'm here. We have a quorum. Okay. Move on. Next subject is the adoption of the agenda. Okay, we are going to be removing number 2, executive session. Recommendation, are there any, you need to-
Are you sure you want to do that?
Yes. Are you sure? Yeah, okay. Recommendation action, motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, subject, call to the public. No call to the public, alrighty, moving on. Number 3, presentation, superintendent report, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. I wanted to thank all of the sites and all of our members for all of us that were in the classroom. I read it. I have stickers here to prove it. I received 2 stickers for being a great reader according to the class I was in, so I want to thank them and thank Mountain View. That made the highlight of my week, going in there and get to read to those students. Green eggs and ham, so it was a lot of fun. Want to thank the board. Know that it's something that the board supported in having a spring break shutdown. I think it really does a lot for our staff to have that board support, or for our staff to really have a whole week off and know that the board supports that. So I want to thank the board for that, because it is something that I constantly get. We get shut down, and not districts do that. So I want to thank the board for that continued support, because it does, I believe, the tone for the remainder of the school year and get the team refreshed, ready to go for the rest of the school year. Speaking of the rest of the school year, we'll be meeting all the school sites and our team going through the budget. So that'll be coming up with the board in April as we start tonight the process with approval of contracts. So it's one of the first steps of the contract language, and then bring back all that information after we meet with all the school sites, departments, what we again, no matter what does or happen, we're all responsible to ensure that we have our contingency in place and everything is sustainable. And just as a heads up, it's despite some of the birth rates being lower, we are in a very positive situation at this time. So wanted to meet with the school sites to review that and back to the board. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Verdugo. Next subject B, the governing board member report, Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the love of reading. I love that week. The firefighters come back to the station and some of those guys come back sweating because they had such a hard time reading some of these books. So I just love it. I love it. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, I wanted to thank all the principals for the gifts that they gave us again, because I happen to have a chance to go through a lot of it, and you guys give us so many shirts. My God, I have so many of them from being here so many years. And but it's great though, and they're really beautiful, and I want to thank you for the gifts and the administration as well for all that you do, and Angie for all that she does. Not enough can be said about all the work that Angie does for everybody in our district. So I want to thank you guys for that. And then just a little while ago, and I'm not saying this for politics, I'm just saying that this made me think about AI and the benefits of AI. I saw SpaceX recover those astronauts, and who cares which side of the aisle you're on? The fact was that these guys made it back safe. And there was a report that said, well, they would have been picked up anyway, probably true. But the fact that they came home safe, I think really speaks tomes about this country and AI especially, because I think that plays a big role these days. People want to credit an individual for all this intelligence, but it's really, people are using AI to help them tremendously. And when you think of that, and you even think about things that juxtaposed to that, like the bad stuff too, like the fact that you could make a gun, using a computer is really scary. There's a lot of, you hold those two things in mind while you're thinking about all this. It's pretty scary, but I think overall, I'm real optimistic about it. And I feel that this is going to benefit our society tremendously. And we push for technology in our district, which is a great thing. But I think it's going to really reward creativity. It's not just going to be the people who are brainiacs, and the people who are really good at using a computer that are going to transform the world quickly. I'd say within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see some things we never dreamed of because of AI. But I think it's going to be the people who are creative, the good-hearted and creative people that are really going to use AI to the max, as we used to say. They're the ones that are going to do some things that are just going to floor us. And so, at any rate, I wanted to say that I thought it was really cool to see that those people, the whole thing, the way it was all done, and really neat. And AI is just something else. It just blew my mind today. And before I came to the board meeting, I was thinking, wow, like the creativity. That's just one example. Push that aside, there's just going to be so many things that we can't even dream of that are going to happen. So I was really excited about it coming to the board meeting. AI was more than I even expected it to be. However, I say to the principals and the admin and my fellow governing board members that we have to keep our guard up for, the cheating and all the other terrible stuff that comes with it. But I'm positive, I believe that we're going to see great things. And I know we encourage that, push for that kind of thing. So it's great. It was really nice to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beach.
Yeah, Read Across America, thank you to the principals for having me out there. Third grade was easy, easy peasy.
Not.
Got down to the kinder, oh my God. Yep, those kids, yeah, sort of reminded, they're, after about a paragraph or two, they were done.
You lost them.
You're kindergarten cop.
But I used to be one of those kids, but I was in 8th grade. Mr. Mitchell used to grab me by my elbows and sit me on the book stand, and I was like a little bird up there when I used to speak. You're out there, Mr. Mitchell. Thanks. Let's see, what else? St. Patrick's Day was yesterday, so we gotta celebrate St. Patrick for bringing Christianity to Ireland in the 5th century, somewhere around there. Just a little trivia. We have a boxer in Mexico, Canelo. He's also Irish. The head, the hair does not lie. We're down the line, I know. Irish guy back there. But the big one was in 1846. I don't know if you knew it. I was down in Mexico City, and they had the Battalion de San Patricios. And during the 1842, the United States Army went to war with Mexico. And the United States Army was led by a lot of Protestants, and they hated the Catholics, even though we were fighting for the United States Army. And so when they saw the mistreatment of the Mexican military, the Battalion of San Patricios, they jumped ship. Okay, they probably have better beer over there too.
Probably.
They jumped and fought for Mexico. The luck of the Irish wasn't with them because they lost many of the battles. And at the end, they captured about 50 of them and they executed them. It was one of the largest mass execution in the United States armies. So I think it was September, sometime in September, Mexico honors this battalion. And so that's where you have the Mexican and the Irish sort of bond right there. So if you didn't know that, now you do.
There you go. Thank you for
Okay.
the education.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Oh, that's it. Alrighty. Thank you very much, Mr. Beach. Okay. Me too. I also went and the Love of Reading Week was like fantastic. I was also, like you hit with the kindergartners and I'm like, oh my God, it was just, I did also the green eggs and ham. I went to, with Mountain View, great kids, híjole, my God, just really, 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 really good kids. I didn't get stickers, okay? So I don't know what the deal happened right there, okay? I don't know.
Superintendent.
Okay, I see how it is, okay. I didn't get that. I did get like a little notebook and whatever, a lot of, little goodies and stuff like that. I also went to San Cayetano over there, also great kids. Oh my God, the staff and everybody was fantastic, and it was so much fun to read to the little kids. And then I remembered, oh, I know why I never wanted to teach the little ones. I would have wanted to take them all home. Oh my God, there were some of these kids that you're like, oh my God, teacher, it's like, call me mommy and I'll take you home, it's like, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. Everything was really, really good. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And I really appreciate all the hard work and all of that stuff. And one of the other things that I just wanted to mention is that I know that our standardized testing is coming soon.
Yep.
And just, this is the last haul for all of us, it's our last quarter, am I right? Yeah, and it's the last time. And so we have to, kind of focus on what we are, what is it that we're doing and stuff. And I know that all of the principals and the administrators and everybody is working, and the teachers are working really hard to get our kids, focused and ready for what's coming. So, good job to everybody and thank you very much. That's it. All right, moving forward. Information, discussion, action, subject, approval of the Rio Rico High School principal for the year 2025-2026, Mr. Verdugo.
All right, thank you. We asked a committee to select and interview candidates for Rio High School principal. There was 3 finalists selected, all very qualified, and we were very fortunate to have qualified individuals apply for the position. And then also, they all did very well during the interview process. But in the end, the committee recommended one final candidate, and that recommendation tonight, I again support that recommendation. That's request the board approve that recommendation. That's Mr. Dagoberto Lopez. Ask questions or?
Okay, does anybody have any questions, Mr.
Or comments?
Comments? or
Yeah,
anything?
no, strong work, congratulations, and, that you're from the area, and, I know you're gonna do a great job, so. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah.
Alrighty, Mr. Ramirez.
I yield the floor to Mr. Beach
Okay,
because I'm
Mr.
still
Beach.
writing something.
Okay, Mr. Beach, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Lopez, I'm looking at your oldest son. He's like, man, dad is a junior high principal.
He stuck with me.
Wow.
He's moving to 9th grade and you're bumping up. So, yup,
Transitioning together.
he's got his eye on him right now. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, Dog, congratulations. We remember you way back in the day as a student here and the way you progressed. So congratulations on hopefully soon to be approved high school principal. And thank you, Mr. Canoy, for taking over the last several years. And I know hopefully you said you're going to stay on. So we're looking forward to your expertise staying in that high school also. So Mr. Lopez, congratulations.
Mr. Ramirez, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations. And I'm sure that you really sweated it out having to fly against those other candidates, but you came shining through and it's to be respected. I'm a little concerned Mr. Lopez, I'm sure you probably anticipated I'd be a little concerned because of what had happened in the past when you were at the school, although you were not the leader back then. I'm concerned, and I speak for other people as well, for that voice that wasn't in this governing boardroom when all those, when the principal brought, or maybe he didn't, but other people did. They were using kids as a political football, and they were brought in here to give us a hard time about the things that were going on there that they disagreed with me and other governing board members with regard to discipline and the phone policy and so forth. There was another voice, and there were people who said they were gonna come. No, I didn't push them to do it, but they told me they were gonna be here if things didn't change. So as Mr. Beach said very well that one night, there's another voice out there, and we didn't hear that voice. And that voice is very concerned. They don't want to see us return to the Fun High School again, where the principal ingratiated himself and was more, to me personally, I mean, my opinion, I think the kids, they liked him obviously, but for what reasons, I ask? You know, we have to be very careful how we go about discipline at the school, because as we know, it's kind of like being a parent. Kids don't really like the parent who's the one who, the bad one in the house, who pushes the rules and enforces the rules. And they don't know, those of us that are parents and have seen our kids grow up, we know that later on, they appreciate that kind of thing. As I mentioned before in this governing board room, they liked structure and discipline. And the principals push for that in the high schools, and in all schools, not just the high school. There's no denying that you push for this. And, you know, people look at me and say, oh, Mr. Armendariz, well, how could you say it? But it's true. The kids thrive on structure and discipline. Something that's very hard to push within the schools because it's not the popular thing to do. So I'm just saying, Mr. Lopez, I don't believe that you'll return to that because you're your own man and your own leader. But I'm asking as a governing board member to be careful with that, because there's that perception already that we might return to that. And I don't foresee that. I trust you. I think you're going to come in with your own ideas. So that I am a little concerned about, just a little bit, because we still haven't resolved all the phone issues and the discipline issues at the school. On the good side, you had the highest you had the best data ever in the middle school. And, you know, hats off to you for that. You worked really hard for it. So I'm hoping that you're going to transfer that kind of thing into the high school. But I warn you, it's going to be a lot harder than it was where you were, simply because of the demographics. We're not supposed to talk about all that. We're supposed to always encourage our teachers and our administrators to ignore that and say, well, you can make the best out of everybody, no matter what, right? But I know instinctively that demographics do make a big difference. So you have that inherited challenge. And I think about Calabasas and how much harder it is over there because of the demographics. Maybe John would disagree and say, wow, Mr. Mesa, you know, I'd try to kick booty no matter what. But that's going to be a challenge because you're going to inherit those guys as well. The good news was that you were already there. So you know what you're dealing with, and you were a former student. So you know the culture really, really well. And the other thing that you have going for you is your language ability, which I respect dearly. You're so good at languages. I mean, you just go back and forth that way, and you're quick, you're sharp as a tack. So we got that going for us too. And I'm very appreciative, and I understand and I respect it. What I'm worried about is the discipline at the school. I don't want to see it, you know, I don't want to see us return to that. And maybe I shouldn't use the word return, but I just want to see the discipline maintained and maybe even brought up even better. Maybe even you being tougher about it, because that's going to be your biggest challenge, the discipline. So I took some notes here. And teacher retention. That's going to be a challenge as well, to hang on to the teachers, because of course they're going to be looking at you with a very critical eye, like any principal. So you're gonna have a challenge there because they're all gonna be wondering, does their voice count? You know, that was kind of a problem in the past too. People wanted to speak out and say, hey, there's a lack of discipline, but they were scared. And despite what anyone wants to say in this room, there was a culture of fear. If you spoke out and said, hey, we need to take care of the cell phone policy or the dress code, you ran the risk of getting a dressing down. And I don't want to see us return to that kind of stuff. So those are some things I'm worried about. Again, popularity, that's nice, but it's much more difficult to be true to yourself, stick to the truth and be, as Ms. Vasquez said here, the tough policeman, you know, than it is to be popular. And so I'm hoping that you continue in that spirit, and I would strongly suggest that you delegate a lot of this responsibility to Ms. Tolano, who's done a magnificent job at that school with the discipline. So it'll take some pressure off of you. It'll allow you to focus on the bigger things that you want, you know, like your kids' scores and that kind of thing, and the data and things of that nature. So what else? Did I write down here? I like that you have a vested interest, like Mr. Beach just mentioned. He kind of stole my thunder because I thought, well, you have family that's coming on up. So, I mean, and you're real friendly with John, and John has family coming up. So you do have a vested interest. You know, you can't play politics and say, well, so you guys, I'm back and this is the way it's going to be, because you have to be very careful with your own family, which is kind of cool. So it holds you accountable for that. And I know you love your children, so I know you're going to really work your best to make it the best place for them and everybody else too. So what else? Language ability, and what else? Oh, and I love your background because you're not spoiled, as we've talked before. We both came kind of sort of from the same background. And I love that. I love that you're not spoiled. I know that you value it. And so you understand where the kids come from. And I really love that a lot. I just wanted to mention that. But I hope that you'll take what I told you about the discipline and all that to heart. Because I remain firm here despite a popular stance at times with regard to that. I will definitely go to the school and I will definitely see, you know, how things are going over there. I'm not the only governing board member that said that either. You know, when we have a change like that, we tend to go visit a little bit. But I'm not there, Mr. Lopez, to give you a hard time. So, but I will go there because I want to make sure that we support the things that the governing board works so hard at with regard to policy. I don't want to just see them poo-pooed, you know, and made light of. I want to see that those things are going to be carried out. They're really important. You can't have great scores and you can't have great things without discipline in the school. No matter what anyone says, I'd argue with you till I'm blue in the face. You have to have discipline in your school. Just like in our families, we have to have discipline. And the kids don't like it, but in the end, they will respect you for it more dearly than anybody who tries to be popular. So, Mr. Beach would say, I spoke my piece. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and with me, just to kind of piggyback a little bit on what he was saying, okay? I think that the school has come a long way from the other individual that was there. I think Mr. Canoy, Ms. Tolano, and everybody that's up at the high school right now are doing a fantastic job. We see that in our discipline reports, okay? And I even mentioned it last time. Okay, before the high school had 1-2 pages of discipline. That has gone down, okay? So I know that is something that's already working, and your strength and what you're gonna bring into it, okay? I think it's gonna go a lot better, okay? with me, Mr. Lopez. I mean, I think this is a well-deserved position. Okay, the high school is making gains and hopefully you can take us to the next level. And I have all my faith in you that you will be moving us forward in the right direction. I really do. You are a resident of Rio Rico High School and a product of our district's educational products, okay? You're a graduate from Rio Rico High School, okay? You have worked for our district in many capacities, okay? You have been changed here, moved over there and whatever, and every time they move you, you do the best that you can, okay? You are, in fact, you have been a huge part of the process of the shift that our district is having, right? Because you were the one that brought in the personalized learning, the standard-based grading, the alternative pathways, the Edgenuity. I remember when it was COVID, I mean, you were the one that helped me, okay, you know, with the Edgenuity program and all that stuff and the way that our district was moving, okay? You are bringing a lot of knowledge to the table, okay? And you are prepared and equipped to move forward in the direction that our district wants. Okay, and for that, I am very, very happy. Okay, you show commitment and dedication to the school district from when you first started. You're still here, okay, from the beginning. You came here, you lived here, you went and you got educated and then you came back, okay? And there's a lot of you guys that are doing that, okay? I mean, the rest of you, okay? From all of the principals are Rio Rico High School graduates, okay? And that I think tells a lot about our district, okay? And I have all the faith, okay, in the world, in you. And I know that it's not going to be easy, but I know that you have what it takes to take us to the next level. Congratulations. I really, really, thank you. And now we are going to the recommend.
President,
Excuse
I'd
me.
like to hear what Mr. Lopez.
Yes, Mr. Lopez, you have anything to say? I'm sorry.
First and foremost, I'm not, the better half of my life was here, so. As well as our four boys, you made reference to one of them, our oldest one, Dante. But not to be shout out by Damian, Daniel, and then Danilo. All of them, the story of how they all start with a D, but it's a long story, but. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to be back at the nest. I directly, indirectly, I worked with every principal at Rio Rico High School. Albrecht was my principal. Kay Mueller was my first boss. That was followed by Mike Brown. Then we had Javier Fuentes, then Jim Anders, then Shelley Brew, then Hector Estrada. Mr. Canoy, who actually worked with him when he first came to Rio Rico as an assistant principal. So directly or indirectly, I worked with every principal. So when the board makes reference to people I work with many different people. And I've taken from the people I work with a lot of people in this room. There's some of my mentors are in this room too. That I've taken a lot too, but I feel that it's important and I owe it to myself to absolutely be the leader that I feel that I deserve for me as a professional, but also for the school that I have my heart in, which is Rio Rico High School. I worked there 18 years before I left. I've been a principal for 2 years. And if any of the concerns shared by the board tonight, I think those are concerns that have been shared with any of you during my current principalship. So I think that hopefully speaks to that element as well. I'm excited. I look forward to making Rio Rico High School the absolute best school that our students and our families. So there's one thing that I'm passionate for, as you guys know, is not just our students, but their families. Advocating for those families who a lot of times don't know how to advocate, who don't know how to sometimes knock on our doors and advocate for their students, because those were my parents. My parents who came to school twice in the US, once when I finished 8th grade and once when I graduated high school. Those were my parents. It's not that they didn't know or they didn't trust or they didn't know where to start or they didn't love and care for me, but they absolutely trusted the professionals who were working with me and my brothers. So I truly know that that is a heavy weight that is on my shoulders, because we don't just work for our students, we work for them. And I truly believe in all of our students and the families that I've grown up with over the years, since 1994, when my family first came to this corner of the US. So thank you to the comments and the well wishes and the trust. I'm really excited and looking forward to hard work that is ahead of me, but hard work has never shown me away from the work. So, thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. much. Do I read the whole thing right there? All righty, okay, recommendation, action, okay. Motion to approve the 2025-26 certified administrator contract for Mr. Dagoberto Lopez as a Rio Rico High School principal at grade 37, step 8 at $105,194 for the 25-26 school year. All those in favor?
You have a.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Do I make a motion? This is a motion. I motion.
So move.
So moved. Second, okay, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, yes. All those opposed? Nay? Okay, 4 ayes. Okay, motion passes. Congratulations. All right, next subject, B, approval of Guatimundi Middle School principal for the 25-26 school year. Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you. So as you just approved, this high school that left a.
Void.
Yes, at Guatemala Middle School. And we're very fortunate to have a distinguished administrator, who would like to go back into being a principal. Giving up at HR and is now, wanting to go back, because she's very passionate about being with students. I mean, when you're a principal, you know, you get to see students every day. And I always tell people, you know, one of the tough things about moving up into the district office is you're not at the school sites every day. Students, it is, we can help them to education. And so, with that, my recommendation, of a distinguished administrator that can fill that role, I recommend approve Ms. Cabrera as the Guatemala.
All righty. Any questions? Anybody have? Mr. Guerrero?
Congratulations on work and thank you for doing that. Well, I think the students probably miss you too, so
Yeah,
that's good. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
thank you. Mr. Ramirez.
Congrats, of course. Nice to see that you're back there. So I tell you, Mr. Lopez really raised the bar over there. And even higher scores, so that's something to think about.
Ramirez, don't worry.
You might want to pick his brains, you know? But congrats and look forward not only to you, but Mr. Lopez doing great things. I was gonna say, Mr. Lopez, that the data speaks tones, even if nobody in this room says, oh, Mr. Ramirez, I don't believe anything you say. You guys are always pushing for data. You do believe data and you always push for it. So hey, the data speaks tones at the high school. Mr. Knoip did a good job over there. And the data went up. You gotta ask yourself why. But speaking of data, you got a bar that's a little higher than yours was. Yours was already pretty high. But now Mr. Lopez even raised that bar, which was really cool. This is really something else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, challenge now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Beach.
I think it's like my bar was already up.
Yeah.
Well,
He's got the record now.
hey, but Ms. Cabrera, yeah, when I look at you, I always say, because when you were principal down there, I spoke to every single teacher, asking them a little bit about the school, you know, who you were, et cetera. And one word comes to mind, leadership by example. You know, and I talked to my sister Mary and she goes, I don't know when she sleeps. She'll be texting us at 9 at night. You know, something the agenda and this, that, and the other thing. You know, you're the first one on the campus, last one to leave. And when your staff sees that, you know, they can't complain because you're leading by example. So I'm happy that you jumped out of your office here and back in the trenches. And I know you're gonna do outstanding down there because you're already outstanding. And I'm sure the staff is ecstatic that you're coming back. You know, they're losing Doggo, but they're getting you back. And so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, and for me, again, congratulations. You know how I feel. You know that I think that you're a great, great leader. I think that you bring a lot to the table, like everything. And again, like they say that, you were already up there. You were already there, okay? Dago kind of went from here and he grabbed you, okay? But he's always there, you're always there, that the people, again, they do because they lead you by example. You're a great leader. Okay, and I think that, and I understand exactly where you're coming from, that you want to go back to the kiddo because that is where you're needed the most. You know what I'm saying? That is where you're needed the most because that is where you make the difference, okay? Here in the paperwork, that's okay, but there, okay? The kids are the ones that make you, the kids are the ones that push you, that do all of this to you to make you want to be better, want to make our schools even better, okay? So congratulations and welcome back to your littleness where you were before. Thank you very much, okay? Do you want to say anything?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank, well, obviously my husband, but he supports me. We're a good team for 23 years. But district administration, and the board for giving me the opportunity, sorry, to work in HR. It's difficult, so principals, when we come back, there's a lot of behind the scenes that I didn't realize that now I'm back understanding, both in the business area and HR. So I've grown a lot in the 2 years, and Dago, thank you for taking such good care of CTMS while I was gone. Wherever I left off, I was really proud to see that the teachers and the students under Mr. Lopez's leadership continued on with what we had started. I never wanted anything to go backwards, and we can see nothing has. So do I have my work cut out for me? Absolutely. I want to get the A. It'll be both ours. And I want to eventually become the A+ school that I know CTMS deserves. Middle school is a little hidden gem that not very many people take the opportunity to learn and understand. But that's where my heart is, in middle school with those kids. They grow tremendously from 6th to 8th, and then I get to see them at the high school level. And I get to see the elementaries with those little 5th graders. I know who's coming up. So it's really that middle that's a beautiful thing. So thank you very much for allowing me to go back home to my Cavaliers, and I'm really excited. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. A motion to approve the 2025-2026 certified administrative contract for Ms. Rebecca Cabrera as a principal at Cuatimundi Middle School at grade 35, step 11 at $104,794 for the 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor? Do they have the motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. All those opposed, say nay. No, none, okay, ayes have it, and motion passes. Congratulations. Okay, moving on, the subject, C, 2025-2026, contract language, Mr. Verdugo.
Thank you again. As I mentioned, this is the process is to review this with attorney. Cover that. Didn't have any additional comments at all. This is again the contract language. That's sort of the contracts, the language that are.
This is just.
So that when we do present the budget and then approve the school contracts, that you know what the language is, and it addresses anything that may happen with state or that may occur in state or federal issues that happen. So it's just approve the contingency language. Well, turn over to Ms. Cabrera.
Ms. Cabrera, you're no longer in HR. Go ahead.
What did my Blanca mention? She said, well, until July 1.
Yeah, June the 30th.
As hard as possible in this area.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
just like Mr. Verdugo had mentioned, all of the contracts, you can see the certified administrator, teacher, certified professional, classified term, and indefinite term appointments. Those were all, bless you, those were all reviewed and updated by myself, and then I sent them over to the lawyer for some review. There were hardly any changes. However, they did extend some of the language where it was maybe a few sentences. It elaborated into a few more. That was the teacher and the administrator. And then when we do have retirees, it's just, it's still in the retired teacher contract, a blurb, but we also added just another agreement form, so it looks the same. Two is better than one, so we don't forget, we don't miss any steps. So those are the only changes that are there. And everything looks great, and our lawyer, was pleased with the minor changes that we did have to make, so. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I have
Mr. Guerrero?
No
None?
questions.
Mr. Ramirez?
No, I don't have.
Mr. Beach? No, I have none. Okay. Motion to approve the 2025-2026 certified administrators, teacher, certified professional staff, classified term, certain exempt appointment, and classified indefinite term at will appointment contract as presented. So moved
Second.
and second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those
Aye.
opposed? Nay? Okay, ayes have it. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see, moving on, sorry. Subject D, Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District, policies, Mr. Verdugo.
I think the only, update procedure for liquidated damages to make sure that the final language, I know has had some specific language he wanted to make sure, that was, captured in there for the board. And again, this can be, changed as
Needed.
The recommendation to me is that again, the procedure versus a policy. And
Okay,
it is also in the contract language.
alrighty.
So,
Any questions, Mr. Guerrero? No
Questions?
questions, Mr. Ramirez?
I'd like to yield the floor to Mr. Beach. Just
Mr. Beach, go ahead.
I read it, it looks good.
Mr. Ramirez? Okay, I also read it and I saw the change.
Good. I can always come back later if I have to. I'm good.
You're good? Alrighty, yeah. Like you said, it's a
living document.
living document.
So if there's any issues, just let me know.
Is that okay, Mr. Ramirez? Okay.
There is one, change that. Policy is not consistent.
Procedure, yeah.
Right here, either,
The last sentence there, it said policy is not, it should be it's procedure.
Say procedure.
oh, this procedure instead of policies?
Policy.
My error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. It'll have to say procedure then, right? Okay, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anything, anybody else? No? All righty.
Well, excuse me, but
All
when they
right.
say that they comply with this, I mean, when we see extenuating circumstances, we can still make the change even though they comply. I just want to make sure that,
Mhm.
because as you know, I mentioned that before, we can't. I like that we have extenuating circumstances, otherwise we'd just be heartless about it. And I don't like that. Sometimes there are extenuating circumstances. Very rarely, but there are.
Yes, definitely agree.
Thank you.
All right, so then my recommendation, it's,
There's no motion for that.
there's nothing right there? Okay, that's what it said there. That's why I was gonna move on. All right, so then I move on then, right? Okay, subject, okay, propose and prioritize topics and possible dates and times for future board meetings. Mr. Verdugo.
It's not listed there, but it is a future meeting request. As far as I talked to Ms. Vasquez about that, I will be scheduling some visits at each of the school sites, in spring. And I would like to invite, at least one board member to attend with me, if your schedule would permit. So I will send you some dates, and then we would visit the school site in the morning, and then have lunch with some of the staff members or possible students. How they think the year is gone, and just get some feedback, and also allow me to contribute to the strategic plan. Just asking some questions about some of the questions that may be guiding that strategic plan, just from some of the staff and students. So I wanted to give the.
I thought that was a really good idea.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so I'll send some dates, and then if you're able.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so that would be, no, any questions? No, okay, moving on. Subject approval of the consent agenda.
Rest of your. That's there.
Anybody else? Mr. Guerrero? Mr. Ramirez?
I have none, thank you.
And Mr. Beach?
I have none.
I have none either, okay. I do that, right? Okay. Any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed as regular agenda item or items upon the request of any board member. Okay, so we have,
So I'm asking you if you would remove 13.
yes, I will. Okay, we will remove number 13 for you.
Actually, I'd like to remove number 6, please.
Okay. And number 6 for Mr. Ramirez. All right, so now. Okay, I will move to motion to approve, accept, and ratify the consent agenda as presented, removing number 6 and number 30 and number 13.
Second.
Second, we have a approval and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, I just wonder if the superintendent could shed some light on that approval of addition of a 150 per hour.
Yes. So currently when we lifeguards, so for instance, if a school for the Dare Day celebration would like to have a field trip to the pool, then we need to hire the lifeguards for that. So this is to cover the lifeguard fees.
I see.
And so we pay out of our override for like regular opening and things like that, but this is for additional time. They wanted to have a private party or things like that, because we allow that to the community. So if the community wanted to rent the pool,
What happens when we have these private parties that we charge?
yes, and that's what this fee is for.
I see.
Yeah, so this fee is to charge those individuals.
And the money, where does the money,
It goes into that, back into that account to support the pool,
the maintenance of it?
maintenance, operations of it.
So that-
If I may, the proceeds from the rental of the venue will go back into what's called the Civic Fund, which is the fund that we use to deposit rentals like we do with the Performance Arts Center of Rio Grande Municipal. As we rent that facility out to outside groups, any proceeds from that goes into Fund 515, the Civic Fund, and then we can use that to reinvest back in the facility to offset the cost of maintaining and keeping up with those buildings.
Of course, this doesn't, I often think about where we're gonna get our money for maintenance. I remember the interview we had that one time. But I was just wondering, just out of curiosity, the future maintenance, are we gonna have to pass a bond?
Then, no, so the bond it's capital, okay? And we already passed and had language to provide funding for the maintenance of the aquatic center,
How long?
as long as the override lasts. So remember that override are for a maximum of 7 years. with
That's good.
full Funding for 5 years, so we would have to be renewing that every 5
Awesome.
years.
Good, because somebody asked me a question about that the other day and I got hit blindsided. I knew because we had discussed it before, but I do want to make a comment with regard to that. I happen to think that if you're going to pass you're gonna vote to have a pool. We've heard people tell us in the community that they don't want to pay for the maintenance. Well, that's absurd. If you voted for the pool, then you tell us when we're building the pool, hey, we don't want to pay for the maintenance. What do you expect us to do? Get a tractor and cover the pool up with dirt? I mean, come on now. So those people keep saying that. For all you guys are saying that out there, be realistic. You voted for the pool, and so it stands to reason that you would vote for the override to maintain the pool. We don't want to be like Patagonia.
And again, as I mentioned during my supervisor's report, everything we do, we want to make sure we have a funding source and that it's sustainable.
Awesome. I was happy to hear that, Ms. Brown. I'm very happy to hear that. It's 7 years. That's good. That's a good start right there. Thank you. Thank you so much for the info.
And again, what this says is that it's $150 per hour, so anything,
Yeah, and that is something that we are beginning with. So that was, as just doing our limited research that we do have. It's just to cover the lifeguards and so forth. So that's per hour. And again, we haven't had that request yet, but I'm anticipating that coming up this spring and summer that we're gonna have those
Structures.
Oh, yeah.
Shade structures.
Yeah, and we'll be working on
On the shade.
that.
Alrighty. Okay, any more questions? Anybody? No, okay, so then, motion to approve, accept and ratify the consent agenda on number 6. Okay,
So moved.
okay, so moved. Second, okay, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, motion passes. That's good. That was really cool. And number 13, we're.
Yeah, thank you. So they do. Partnering that review. That's kind of what it should. That
Oh, this one would be. Oh, okay.
would be in Title I. It should be.
Okay, right here, this one.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Guerrero?
No questions.
No, Mr. Ramirez?
No, I have none.
Mr. Beach? I have none either. Okay, so then we have motion to approve and accept and ratify the consent agenda number 13. Okay, as presented.
Moved.
Second, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those
Aye.
opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Okay, motion passes. That one, and now it's this right.
Gavel. Get the gavel.
It's adjourned. Okay, we are adjourned at 5:51, guys.